Why? Because he was so good? No, because his mother had a God encounter. If you want your children to serve God, get a God encounter. It'll change you, and that change in you will change them. We're looking for them to change. We're praying, oh God, change my kids. Just change them, just save them, just do something. And what we need to do is start crying out, God, give me an encounter with you face to face that will change me, that will cause them to change. Sometimes I think we pray amiss because we're praying for them to change. And it's not them that need to change, it's me, it's us. And the only thing that will change you is to have a God encounter. A one-on-one, face-to-face time with God, just like Moses had. Because God said, I'm going to speak to Moses face-to-face, but he said to you, Miriam and Aaron, because you don't believe, I'll only show you what I can do. But I won't show you my face. But my servant Moses will see my face, and he'll have a face-to-face encounter with me. If you've gotten discouraged and you're thinking about quitting, well, get a God encounter. It'll change your attitude. And that's the only thing that will change your attitude. If great sermons would change your attitude, we'd all already have the best attitudes in the world. But we don't, because sermons can't change our attitude. It can only drive us to that place where we say, okay, God, I don't know. I heard that. I really don't know if that's true, but if it is, I want it. If a God encounter is the truth, then I want it. And when you start pursuing that, God will open the heavens and He will come and give you an encounter with Him that will change everything. It'll change your whole life. It'll change your attitude. It'll change your feelings. It'll change your desires. It'll change where you go. It'll change who you have company with. It'll change the habits that you have when you have this God encounter. And so Hannah had her God encounter. Now I want you to go down to the 2nd chapter of 1 Samuel. That same book, go down to the 2nd chapter. And I want to read to you what Hannah prayed after she had a God encounter. Chapter 2 and verse 1. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in the Lord. Mine horn is exalted in the Lord. Now this doesn't sound like a woman discouraged any longer. This doesn't sound one that had been defeated for years and made fun of. Something had changed. She said, my mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There's none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogance come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by Him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth bringeth up, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of the saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Hannah. What a change came in Hannah after that God encounter that she had. I want to read you what another woman prayed when she had her God encounter. And this one is found in the book of Luke, the 1st chapter, starting at verse 46. And this was Mary, who had had her God encounter in a much different way. But she had her God encounter. And this is what she prayed. And you have to compare these two. Compare what Hannah prayed and prophesied. Because that prayer became a prophecy. And the same with Mary. And Mary said, this is Luke 1, verse 46. And Mary said, my soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiced in God my salvation. For he hath regarded the low estate of his handmaiden. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty hath done to me great things, and holy is his name. And his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation. He has showed strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He hath put down the mighty from their seats, and exalted them of low degree. He hath filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he hath sent away empty. He hath opened his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham and his seed forever. And Mary abode with her Elizabeth about 3 months, and returned to her own house. Two women, distinctly different. Not only different times, different conditions, but Hannah was a wife, married for many years without a child. It drove her to have her God encounter, and then she prophesied and she spoke these things. And then there was Mary, another young virgin espoused to Joseph, who God had an encounter with her and overshadowed her, conceived in her that child that was to be called Jesus Christ, and she began to prophesy. Oh, could I ask you ladies in here today? You don't have to raise your hand. Raise your heart. If I ask you ladies, how many of you in here tonight want to prophesy?